Hi, it's me. Yeah, it's now several hours later. Um, it's raining, and I went to the job centre. No, I went to the skills development centre. I'm always moving towards the centre of something, I feel. And which I didn't go in last week, for one reason or another, mainly because I don't like going in. And I sat down and I just couldn't be asked to go through the sort of CV thing with my friend Richard again. So I just sat down and started writing bollocks about myself, or rather kind of writing a sort of artistic CV for myself, which is rather sort of depressing because you always end up writing these sort of cliches, regurgitation of something you've once read or how you think it should be. It's a bit like writing when they make you write a letter at school and you it just sounds, or job applications or something like that. You there's nothing of yourself, and it's the opposite of a creative exercise. And I was writing things like, Pete's starting point is sound, and just really knobby things like that. Eventually I decided that the only way that this sort of piece of work would be any use would be to sort of put it on my website with a kind of subverted text running beneath each particularly pretentious entry, or just annoyingly something or other. So I thought I was just going to sit there and try and get away with it, clock in, clock out, fuck off. And then Richard comes to the city. I realise I'm getting his accent wrong completely. He's actually very posh. It's difficult to do still, but he comes and sits down next to me, hands me a letter, and I'm like, "It's for me? What's this then?" He was like, "You didn't come in last week, or if you did, you didn't sign, and I didn't see you, so I'd be very surprised if you did." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't. I had a hard week last week." And he sort of thought, "Oh God, his dog's died or something." And so I sort of got away with it. He didn't ask me about it. And he says, "Oh, I thought of something for you." And he comes back and he's got one of those little job centre slips that you see in the job centre with jobs on, about the details. And this one says cleaner. And he said, the thing is, I thought the money was good because it's like £6 an hour. And it's like Camborne / Cambridge. I don't know whether they mean like I'd be sort of hopping on my bike at I think it was 6 to 8 p.m. in the evening. Be a nice sort of thing to do, wouldn't it, in a winter evening, sort of cycle. I don't know how many miles it is to Camborne, but I think it's got to be more than 5. I don't know. 10? Could be. So I just got really genuinely pissed off. Not that you'd know, really. And then, I don't know, it was okay in the end, because I just was so unwilling to sort of go along with the sort of bullshit that he handed me this thing, we were talking about sort of doing CVs, and he handed me this thing for a band that was a sort of equivalent of for a musician, a couple of musicians, I think, partnership, male and female, always bodes well. And the band were called Soul Reaction. And it's just the sort of thing that you could just tell they were the sort of demo tape that you'd receive in by the sort of bucket load at the boat race, and they'd be just like, Mustang Sally! And just, just the worst kind of dross, obviously. One of the things that I particularly liked, well, there's a couple of things in their CV that I particularly liked. One was working for 5 months as a bar band in a hotel in Gambia. I mean, sounds quite exotic, but I can imagine what that would be like. And another thing was being a backing band. It was somewhere awful, something like Butlins or something, in Blackpool for the Linda Nolan Band. Which, I spent a little while trying to explain what was different about what I do. And I think it was getting late in the day, and I think he just realised that he wasn't going to get very far with me. And I just fucked off, eventually, to sign on. So I went to sign on, and as I came across the bridge, the same one that features in the song God Bless the Unemployed, coincidentally, or I don't know, some people were having a conversation. I was quite interested because there were two scruffy looking blokes and a blonde woman with sunglasses, and she was sort of dressed to impress somebody, or I don't know, she just looked interesting. She had a vaguely bohemian look. And the blokes were sort of leaning on the railings on their bicycle, and one of them was saying to her, well, that's like Courtney Love said at his funeral, I mean, they shouldn't have just fucking taken it away from him if that was what he wanted, And I was just like, my ears were sort of morphing over and trying to listen. And the woman said, Americans, they couldn't diagnose a dildo. Well, that was what I thought she said.